The next thing I knew, we walk out and 42's on me. It didn't faze me though. As soon as we start, I get in the groove, and on that second play, I was running back on D, and number 42 runs up behind me and says the worst thing he could have ever said. I still can't believe he said this, but he said, it was my junior year and I pretty much made basketball my one and only. Zero distractions, married to the game, I'm on my Goku grind. This season mattered so much because I knew that the plays that I made this season could get me a scholarship. As we're driving to the game out in Hillbilly High, I got my pregame playlist running in my cheap $5 headphones. It was a 3-hour drive from school and honestly, felt like cheeks. I think I had just failed a test or something. So after a mini anxiety attack, I'm pretty much ready to crash. So I'm knocked out for literally the entire drive. We get there and it smells like locker room or rusty pipes, so you can imagine how great the locker room smelled. There's one toilet in a corner, so that was cool, holding it for the rest of the night for sure. The smell of Icy Hot masked most of the stench. Icy Hot was something that most of us carried on us because coach did not play during practice. It was probably easier for us to crouch walk to our cars because as soon as we straightened our legs, it was just stiff. So most of us had it on us, and Lucas decided he wanted to use the one toilet, and as soon as he did, he realized that there was hella Icy Hot on his hands, and well, he expressed the feeling, not in words, but in the way his eyes watered as soon as he flushed the toilet. But regardless of our surroundings, we came with a mission. We're on a little bit of a losing streak, so we honed in and nothing fazed us. We get out there and we warm up, and I scout who their best shooter is and their best big. I know without a doubt that that's who I'm guarding, and that's who he's playing towards. You see, the thing about me that made me deadly on the court was my defense. I was never a point player. I'm just saying that to save my ego. I couldn't shoot, like at all. I was no Steph. But my defense was on another level. If someone went to shoot, I was there. Layups, smacked. Rebounds, mine. If you were to pass too slow, I'ma fully have to take custody of that ball for you because that is mine. As a 6'2" guard, I was really able to guard anyone. Tall, short, big, small, doesn't matter. If I was on you, you're not scoring, let alone getting the ball. But the downside to me being on the team was that I'm pure defense. So I can't be putting us back on top if we're down. But I can make it so that the top scorer doesn't see the light of day, gets benched for the rest of the game, and gets yelled at by his dad because he literally can't touch the ball. I've done it before, it's not pretty, but it's hilarious. They call us out and I stand across from the shooter. We get the tip off and we're dropping point after point. Their best shooter might as well go make himself a sandwich, take a nap, read a book, find proof of leprechauns, and search for the meaning of life, waiting for me to get pulled off because he has not touched the ball once. And our best shooter, Tom, was cashing out. He's 6'9", so it's like watching a grown man play against a bunch of toddlers. It's not fair. And our big, Gerald, who's 6'8", literally can't be stopped down low. He jumps too high. Everything he grabs is pretty much a dunk. We're up 5 by the end of the quarter, and I don't know what gave this man the idea, but he starts going after Tom, like grabbing his jersey, checking him after every layup, grabbing him before he jumps so we just get swatted immediately. The refs literally couldn't have been watching this game. He gets frustrated and he starts pushing back, and every time he did this, the refs were on him. He had like 3 fouls before the end of the half, so coach took him out. I realized what was going on and I noticed that he was number 42. The second half starts and instantly, Tom fouls. So coach sets him down because he only has 1 foul to go, and we get down by 3. This puts our team at risk. The momentum that we had died when he got taken out of the game. So I pulled my trump card. Now I wish I could tap into this on command, but it's a state of mind that can only be tapped into when pushed to my absolute limits. But when I do, I lose all 5, and I just do. My awareness is at 11, purely operating off instinct. And I start popping off a little bit. They couldn't stop me from driving to the basket. I put up like 4 points and Jared puts up 2 before they can even score. And they call a timeout. The next thing I knew, we walk out and 42's on me. It didn't faze me though. As soon as we start, I get in the groove, and on that second play, I was running back on D, and number 42 runs up behind me and says the worst thing he could have ever said. I still can't believe he said this, but he said, "F you, n***er." Yeah, dead ass. I wish I was kidding. Hard-R'd me and everything. Just blatant racism. He didn't say it very loud, but he made sure I heard it loud and clear. But this small interaction unlocked a box that I've been desperately pushing down ever since I discovered it in myself. Because I knew if the contents of this box were to get out, the damage would be catastrophic. I was about to go tell my coach out of fear of losing control and doing something that could compromise my chances of a scholarship. But I realized this rage-induced strength was mine to control, and I wanted to use all of it to win this game and to break him myself. So every time I get the ball, I drive on him with a falcon knee waiting for him if he even thinks about trying to stop me. And I'm so glad he did, because this man caught knee after knee after knee. I'm drawing foul after foul on this kid. Nothing else matters. I'm making sure that this is the last time that he thinks he can play at my level. He never touched the ball. He's 6'6", one of their bigs, and he never got the ball once. The box unlocked a new level of hops, and my vertical was literally insane. My hang time is ridiculous. I might as well have been flying, because I was not coming down until the ball was in my hands. He's frustrated and tries everything he can to slow me down. down, but he can't. It's like he added a fire that was gonna burn forever. Him making the mistake of calling me that was his downfall. And like how Aang did to Fire Lord Ozai, I stripped him of all his power and made him look like a fool in front of everyone. He's benched and he never comes back in. He didn't even want to. He's bruised all along his rib cage and can barely stand up after falling so many times. Probably still has PTSD every time he lays down for me constantly standing over him. I dropped like 11 or 12, but sadly as a team, we were only able to put up 25 or so that entire half. It was one of my highest scoring games, but it wasn't enough. The score was 58-63 them, and we lost the game. I told the other juniors about this kid 42, and they were heated. My mom and my brother were fuming. They wouldn't have left him bruised, they would have left him in a wheelchair. But honestly, I wasn't even all that mad. I got to learn what the box I held on so tightly was. You thought this TikTok was a joke? It's really not. It just happens whenever I'm pushed to my limits physically and mentally. The lack of thought and the fluentness at which I moved, literally bliss. I had never been more calm in my life. But as for this absolute waste of time of 42, for the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, he walked around with bruises everywhere. He wasn't allowed to play for the next few games, which honestly should have been more, but hillbilly high, you know? Plus I saw his mom chewing him out as soon as I left, and I know how that goes, so he definitely got his. And I knew his true intentions. He had already taken out our best shooter. Gerald was way too strong for him to handle, so it's a guaranteed win if he takes me out. So he tried to get a rise out of me and make me flip out and get thrown out of the game. But instead, I honed that anger and I used it to fuel me and push past what I thought was my peak and come out stronger than I was going in. And just knowing this on my way home made what was an awful situation to be in that nobody deserves into something that made me a better basketball player overall. I felt like I really could go D2 or maybe even D1 if I tapped into it a little bit on command. Nah, that's cap. I 100% had to get the shot down first. You could have threatened to kill me or worse, delete my YouTube, and I legit would have airballed every time. But anyways, D2 was the mission. But little did I know that my time of playing basketball was coming to an end because something happens that changed my life forever. Sub, share, and like the vid if you want to know what happens. Before I end off, I've got one last thing to say. If I knew that I was gonna lose basketball, the one thing that gave me true purpose in life, I would have honestly kicked this man's ass. He really called me and